Hey guys, how's it going? And welcome to the showdown between the Skaven, led by Lord Skrolk, and the Tomb Kings, who are going to be led by Ark in the Black. So without further ado, let's jump right into this match and have some fun. Up here in the front line, we do have a nice combination of the tank and spank, and for the tank, we do have three groups of the Stormvermin with the swords and shields. They definitely feel like they're really good in the front line here. So number one, they have 90 armor, so if they're facing off against Tomb Guard or Skeleton Warriors or Nehekar Warriors, they're going to be very durable. Their combat stats are okay with 37 melee attack and 45 melee defense. They also have shields in case you're facing off against Skeleton Warriors. I don't think that Ushapti bows are mitigated by these shields. I think they're more like artillery fire. But anyways, we have three groups of these Stormvermin here. Should be pretty good in the front line. I think the only Tomb King's infantry that has, some decent AP are going to be the Tomb Guards with halberds. But even then, their melee attack's a little bit low to get through the, melee defense of these Stormvermin with these shields. On top of that, I do have a couple groups of the Sensor Bears. So these guys are going to be very squishy against archer fire. So if your opponent's using like skeleton archers and things like that, these guys can get punished very quickly. But if they are not, and the Sensor Bears get to fight like any of the Tomb King's infantry, it's going to be an absolute massacre. Number one, they're going to discourage them and make their leadership crumble incredibly quick, and therefore the unit is then going to crumble. And they just hit really, really hard. 46 weapon strength here, really, really good armor piercing value. So even if they end up fighting Ushapti or constructs, they can actually do a ton of damage. So I feel like Sensor Bears might have a bit of a niche in this matchup, and we'll see how they do. Top of that, two groups, one more group of Sensor Bears, two more groups of the Stormvermin, and that is it for the front line. We got two assassins. They're going to be trying to hunt down Ark in the Black, which is going to be tough since he's on horseback, but they're just a decent unit. They're relatively cheap, and the trophy heads is always pretty useful. Scroll for our Lord, by far the most competitive choice here, in my opinion. The Liber Bubonicus is just absolutely just a beast. So you can drop like two of these on Ark in the Black, and it's going to bring them down to like 40%, probably over the course of a long battle. And then the Rod of Corruption is very good against blobs of Tomb King's infantry and stuff like that. So Skrolk is just really, really good. Pestilent Breath is great against their skeleton archers and their skeletons and their tomb guards, blessed with filth and vermintide. In the secondary line, we have two groups of the Poison Wing Globadiers. So these guys are going to be on Ushapti and Construct duty. These rats are ready to party, and they do pretty well if they're left unimpeded. So hopefully they'll be able to get their shots off. And they're going to be protected by a couple groups of Rat Ogres, so one here and one on the far side. And it's a little bit tough to protect these guys with like just spears because, Clan Rat spears and even Stormvermin with halberds don't really have the best mass, so enemies can just push through them. But you can't really push through Rat Ogres, which is always pretty good. So yeah, that's pretty much it for my army. For my opponent over here, whole front line of Skeleton Warriors. He's got Skeleton Spearmen, he's got halberds. Looks like the whole front line is going to be basically chaff. So he has two layers. He's basically going to try and absorb my initial shock damage with his front line here. And then in the secondary line, he has the meat and potatoes. So Tomb Guards with halberds, he has the Kepra Guard, Tomb Guards, and more Tomb Guards. So maybe he was expecting like Doom Wheels or, what are those things called? Helped Abominations, something like that, but we'll see how they do. And an entire back line, just tons of Ushapti. So the Ushapti will really monster mash my Stormvermin, so I'm going to need to focus them down effectively with the Globadiers. And also, Sensor Bears will put a dent in these guys, so I'm hoping that'll go well, but the Ushapti are going to be pretty damn scary. And Ark in the Black, is he on foot? No, he's on horseback. So he's got Spirit Leech, and it looks like he does have the spooky spells there. So my opponent advancing down the hill to meet me here, so I'm going to be falling back just to kind of meet him on a neutral ground right here because I didn't want to be charging up the hill. I could waddle forward and start throwing Globadiers, so I think my opponent knew that he would be the one having to engage. I could also use Skrolk to harass with like Rod of Corruption and also get to use Pestilent Breath. So he's going to be advancing down the hill, and the rats are going to meet them in glorious combat. So we're going to see how this is going to go in the front line. The Sensor Bears are going to kill these Skeleton Warriors in like a matter of seconds. That's going to be a massacre. So here come the Stormvermin. They're ready to party, and the Sensor Bears got their clubs out for Harambe, and it's time. So these guys leaping in there, getting a charge bonus. Skeletons have like some of the worst charge bonus in the game. So here come the Sensor Bears. Let's go ahead and just watch this damage for a moment and see how it goes. So you can see the Skeletons. Their leadership is pretty much negative already, like within a couple seconds. So man, Sensor Bears are so good at killing chaff. I mean, that's like 300 gold gone, just so damn quick. But he's still going to get to his Realm of Souls relatively quick and also get his Ushapti summoned based on all these deaths here. So now the Ushapti are going to be zerging into the front line, which is going to be tough. You can see them just blitzing in. The Globadiers providing some overwatch fire on those guys as they come in there. But the Sensor Bears take a nice little charge. And Ushapti do have a bonus for his infantry. So that's going to be a little bit tough for the rats to hold down. But we will see how these valiant rodents do. So they didn't take as much damage as it looked like they took there. So they're in okay shape, clubbing through the chaff units. And yeah, basically all of the chaff is just getting melted. There were some Ushapti over here, so I decided to send the Rat Ogres to pin them in. And right now, we're getting some decent Globadier fire. You can see these guys chucking their balls right there into the Kepra Guard, I think. Or actually, no, I was targeting the Ushapti. So melting them relatively quickly. Ark in the Black does summon some skeletons with his Staff of Nagash in the back line. So I sent in my Clan Rat Spears, who unfortunately are getting caught by the Doom and Darkness. So leadership, it's still 40, but he gets a massive AoE Fear Bomb right here. But I don't think it's going to be enough because I brought relatively elite Skaven troops. So it's not like slaves and Clan Rats just fighting here. Well, there are some Clan Rats, but Rat Ogre sweeping back in to kind of support these units. The Globadiers have gotten back into position, so I just basically following them back, protecting them, getting those really juicy shots into those Ushapti there, and it looks to be going pretty good in that respect. However, there is still a new Shopty summon coming down. Balance of power is pretty even, but man, those Sensor Bears must have a ton of kills. They're routing now, but they already got 84 kills, which I'm pretty happy with. But it looks like he did break through this pocket here, so I didn't have too many resources. I summoned some Clan Rats to try and defend them, but the Shopty have gotten into the cookie jar. And you can see now that these poor Globadiers are just going to be getting karate chopped by these undead monstrosities. Well, they're not even undead, really. Isn't it like a construct that's kind of imbued with the spirit of a king or something? I don't really know the lore, but anyways. The Ushopti pushing through there, so I'm pulling back with the Globadiers, doing the same thing on the far side, pulling back these Globadiers, and I will be using the Rat Ogres to try and pin these guys down. Frontline engagement in the center is an absolute massacre. Lord Skrolk and his assassins are just going all stinky mode up in here. They're melting the Kepler Guard, they're just melting the Ushopti. They have the support of these very tanky Storm Vermin who've taken almost no damage. Despite fighting Kepler Guard and Ushopti, these guys are just really, really holding out here. So very, very happy with the performance of the Storm Vermin. Still rocking about half health, a little bit less than that, and 84 models. And yeah, the backline's gotten a little bit wild though. Bounce of power creeping back towards the middle as my opponent does summon some Ushopti here. So these Ushopti are just going to collide in. And I'm kind of running out of resources to defend my back line because all these Ushopti are forcing their way forward. So every time they do that, I have to allocate some resources to deal with them, like some Clan Rats or Rat Ogres, and I'm kind of running a little bit dry. So at this point, it's getting a little bit messy. The Ushopti do have 50 plus speed, so they're able to outrun a lot of my units here. And yeah, the Clan Rats are chasing them, trying to get them down. Some Globadier shots coming in the back here, but yeah, the summoned Ushopti, it looks like they're trying to push through, but their AI keeps tugging them back here, which is nice. Also looks like a Fear Bomb going down. So my opponent dropping some hot fear here. These Clan Rats get terrified. Skrolk has Doom and Darkness on him, but he's still fighting for the stinkiest of his people. But look at that overhead swoop right there. It doesn't look like it finishes anyone, but definitely earning some fat style points. So the Rod of Corruption going down right there, just such a good ability, because Tomb Kings, obviously their constructs will fall relatively quickly without the support of like chaff units and stuff like that. The two Assassins were able to do some damage to Ark in the Black and kind of chase him off, so he's just lurking on the outside of the battlefield. But this Assassin trying to sneak in there, hoping my opponent won't notice. So you can see he's just running, the hero of his people, but unfortunately Ark in the Black sees him coming, so he's able to get away there. In the meantime, both of my Globadiers actually broke off, so my opponent did a really good job kind of chasing them off with the Ushopti and some of his other supporting units. But I'm still able to rally them. I also get some Clan Rats rallying right in front of them. I was like, oh, that's convenient. I got some spears to protect these guys. Now they're going to start picking off the last of the Ushopti. In the center battle, the Clan Rats were summoned. Are these the summoned ones? No, they're not. These ones are just blessed with filth by Skrolk. They're kind of chipping away. The Kepler Guard's still putting up a pretty good fight, but honestly, you know, Lord Skrolk should be able to polish these guys off. Some of the Sensor Bears have come back in, and that's just going to, you know, when you have the advantage, Sensor Bears are definitely going to help you cascade that even more. Crumbling the leadership of your opponent's troops is going to be really useful against these undead, because it actually ends up doing extra damage, which is cool. Globadier still shooting in there. Some of these halberds are pushing forward. I don't think their shields are going to help them against these globes right here because they're kind of like artillery pieces, very similar to like Ushopti bows. But we're going to have to run because these Tomb Guard are going to get on the Rats here. So you can see my Rats are in a moment. I think they're going to turn around. They got their little daggers, but that's not going to help them against the Tomb Guard here. But yeah, some friendly fire, a very Skaven tactic right there. But we're able to kind of pelter those guys down. And from there, my opponent's going to get slapped with army losses, as the two Assassins actually make relatively short work of a full group of Ushopti over there. So I was pretty happy with their performance. The Tomb Guards with halberds are going to just crumble due to army losses. So, well played to my opponent. The main thing I really wanted to show you guys this match was how effective the Sensor Bears can actually be in the front line. So number one, they were able to just kill a group of skeletons within like 10 or 15 seconds of fighting in the front line, which is really, really nice. And then after that, they were able to take like half of the health, if not almost all of the health, off of a group of Tomb Guard with halberds. So pretty good stuff from those guys. Granted, they do take it back. Their defensive stats are a little bit poor, so they do take damage in sustained combat, unlike the Storm Vermin, who, I don't know, I'm a little bit on the fence. I was like, I wonder, do I go with all the Storm Vermin? They're not going to kill the chaff as fast, but they're going to be a little bit more durable. But then again, the Plague Monk Sensor Bears also serve a bit of a dual purpose. They're actually surprisingly good against armored monsters and constructs. Ushopti and like the constructs in general don't really have the best leadership on, some of them do, but a lot of them don't. So they're able to break the leadership of these big monsters, which they then take damage from crumbling or just, well, not disintegrating, but crumbling and stuff like that. So there's a bit of a dual purpose with the Plague Monk Sensor Bears, which I feel like is worth exploring. Maybe you just bring them as kind of an anti-Tomb Scorpion, because I feel like if a Tomb Scorpion got surrounded by Plague Monk Sensor Bears, it would go down like relatively quickly, maybe. Something I have to look at. But yeah, the Globadiers are pretty good, kind of peltering the Ushopti. The Guardian Rat Ogres also did good protecting those guys, and I felt like the build was relatively solid. Especially considering what he brought. If he had like Carrion or other harassing units and was a little bit wider, I think it might have been, well, he was very wide, but I'm just saying if he had like, harass units, it might have been a little bit trickier for my Globadiers. For example, if he had broken my Globadiers and had some Skeleton Horsemen or Carrion to chase him off the battlefield, it could have been a different game, because Skrolk's forces in the front line were starting to kind of buckle a little bit under the perpetual pressure. The double Assassin's really good. I mean, they just hit hard. I mean, even though they don't have a ton of AP, they're still, two of them can easily take out a group of Ushopti. They can pressure Ark in the Black with, different debuffs and stuff like that. So I feel like the the rat assassins were pretty good. And honestly, I liked his build. I mean, it had answers against Doom Wheels. It had answers against a lot of the stuff that the Skaven bring to the table. But I feel like this really expensive front line maybe caught him off guard, and they were able to really just take these guys to Pound Town, like these Tomb Guards and all these guys. So that was pretty cool. I was happy with the filthy rats here. So yeah, very well played to my opponent, Marcus Aurelius. Look forward to running into again on ladder, and hopefully you guys enjoyed the Skaven vs Tomb King showdown. Have an excellent night, guys, and take care.